Alright, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC 277. This one's on the prelims at lightweight. We got Rafa Garcia taking on Drakkar Klose. Garcia stepping in on relatively short notice after Diego Ferreira had to pull out with an injury. But Klose can have a 2-inch reach advantage. He's also 2 inches taller. But I will start with Rafa Garcia. So this will be his fifth UFC fight. He's been very active since making his UFC debut in March of 2021. Also short notice, I believe, against Nasrat Haqparast. Put his undefeated record on the line, and he did just kind of get outclassed on the feet. Haqparast, very technical, very good counter striker. And yeah, he was just one step ahead of Garcia on the feet. It's not like he didn't have moments, but it's a tough draw in your UFC debut. He loses that one. And then his second fight, a lot of people were very low on Garcia after this one. His stock definitely dropped. He lost to Chris Gruetzemacher, and his cardio just didn't look good in that one. He gassed out after one round, and Gruetzemacher was just touching him up with like these pillow hand shots basically for much of the fight. And yeah, he just didn't look good in that one. But since then, he has won two straight. Granted, these aren't world beaters. Natan Levy, I picked Levy in that one for some reason. That was a bad pick. But um yeah, he wins that one. Levy just kind of a lot of holes on the feet. At least in that fight, he was allowing himself to get countered, get taken down, and Garcia wins that one pretty comfortably against Jesse Ronson. Ronson looked pretty square that night. He does eat an illegal knee to the head. It was really close. Like his knee was just about getting off the ground, and Garcia kneed him in the head. Ronson continued, and then Garcia takes him down and gets the rear naked choke. So very good performance there. I don't necessarily think that the head kick is what led to that. I think that it was just good fight IQ and very good work on the ground from Garcia to get that done after he loses a point. Coming into the UFC, he had a very good record. He was 12-0. Fought a lot of fights with Combate. The last two fights on his way into the UFC are against Eric Gonzalez, who's now with the promotion. He's fighting next weekend, I believe. And Humberto Bandenay, former UFC fighter, wins both of those by unanimous decision against Eric Gonzalez. It's a back and forth war over 5 rounds, but he gets the unanimous decision win. And yeah, with Rafa Garcia, pretty good boxing, very durable. I mean, he's Mexican, say less. Uh, Pretty good on the ground too. When he wins his fights, he tends to mix in the wrestling and the striking. He's got good low kicks, accurate right hand, uses the calf kick a lot to set up offense up top, particularly his hooks. But yeah, when he wins, it's usually he's mixing in the wrestling. He took down Natan Levy several times, and his cardio is pretty good. I've definitely learned to not just look at one performance that was disappointing, and just write a fighter off because of it. And I think a lot of people did that with the Chris Gruetzemacher fight. It could have just been a bad night because other than that, his cardio doesn't necessarily seem to be bad. I mean, he does slow down in the third round sometimes because he tends to load up. You can see those hands dropping a little bit, but it's not super pronounced. I don't think we can say that Rafa Garcia has bad cardio, but yeah, I love the activity. That is definitely the one thing that's in his favor here for sure. Drakkar Klose has fought a lot of very established UFC lightweights, but you have to go back to like 2017, 18 for a couple of these fights. Garcia has been the more active fighter, and he's only 27, so there's still room to improve. Trains a lot with Cub Swanson and Justin Gaethje. So, yeah, I like Rafa Garcia for sure. He could definitely be live here, but for Drakkar Klose, coming in about 2-1 favorite, did not fight at all in 2021 after Jeremy Stevens pushed him on the scale. It's hard to believe that was over a year ago. That feels like it was like a couple months ago for some reason, at least in my eyes. But yeah, he pushes Jeremy Stevens off the scale, and he just kind of gets like whiplashed, and he was hurt for a while. He's out for a year because of that. He already hadn't fought in a year. I guess just like he had some fights fall through. Here we can see February of 2021, he had a couple of opponents fall through. But before that, it was just that wild fight with Benil Dariush, where Dariush gets to the back, Klose does a very good job fighting off the submission, comes out aggressive in the second round after a low blow and has Dariush hurt, but he just gets a little overzealous, gets clipped, and he gets taken out with that overhand left. Very fun fight. But before that, it was a very, very impressive record for Drakkar Klose. Both guys were coming into that fight with a 3-fight winning streak. Dariush has continued it since then and become a top 5 lightweight, but Christos Yagos, similar style to Rafa Garcia. I think that Garcia is better than Yagos, but he gets the unanimous decision there. Bobby Green, a little bit controversial. I mean, if you look at it, I think that Drakkar Klose had the more effective striking. I think the third round was definitely his. The second round was definitely Bobby Green's. The first round is where it's tough. The striking numbers were in favor of Bobby Green, but just watching it, Drakkar Klose had the more effective shot. So it's tough. A lot of people think that Bobby Green won that fight, but it is a good win on paper for sure. Lando Venata, very good performance there. He looked a lot better against Lando Venata than most people do. He has a tendency to make fights interesting for sure. But yeah, with Drakkar Klose, he managed to slow him down with the low leg kicks. He has very good low leg kicks. He did that against Bobby Green too. He invests in those calf kicks and takes away movement a lot. Uses a lot of feints on the feet. He doesn't have a ton of power and he doesn't have a ton of volume either, but he definitely does have power, but it's just not knockout power. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might get like 40 strikes over 2 rounds from Drakkar Klose sometimes, but they're all pretty heavy. So it's kind of like Alex Morono. I think Drakkar Klose has a little bit more power than Alex Morono, but he doesn't have knockout power. But again, he does land effectively, and in a lot of these striking exchanges, he seems to be the fighter with the more effective striking against a lot of his opponents. Um, but yeah, I do worry just about like the time off and whatnot. I mean, listen, he came back in April of this year, looked awesome against Brandon Jenkins, just 10-8 in the first round. At least it seemed that way, just kind of teeing off in the clinch at range, looked good. His kicks looked excellent, and he gets him out of there in the second round. Granted, Brandon Jenkins is kind of a fighter where if Drakkar Klose is still a guy who can hang with the top lightweights, he should get it done in that fashion, and that's what he did. He looked good. He says he's healthy, so I mean, if we look at the odds here, we got Drakkar Klose at minus 210 and trending up a little bit. Uh, and I am going to go with Drakkar Klose, but I'm going to go with Drakkar Klose by decision at plus 100, which I don't love, but I just don't love this card for betting at all, man. That's why I'm going to make a couple more videos tomorrow, but I've just been struggling to find like what I want to lay chalk on this for this card, and I don't think I found one. Because listen, like Drakkar Klose at minus 210, I think it's fairly priced. But I mean, Rafa Garcia is no slouch. He could definitely be live here. I just think that Drakkar Klose has a little bit more effective striking. They're both a little bit hittable, but I think that Drakkar Klose has a little bit better defense, and I think that Garcia doesn't have KO power either. Neither one of these guys has KO power, but I think again it'll just be another example of if it's on the feet, Drakkar Klose is going to have the more effective striking. I don't think Garcia is going to be able to really out wrestle him, which he kind of needs to win fights, but I mean, we can't say that definitively. Again, like I like Rafa Garcia, he could definitely be live here, but I'm just gonna stick with Drakkar Klose. But I definitely don't love it. I like last week I bet 8 units on the UFC London card. It's actually the best tracked card I've had on this channel. We made close to like 7 units, but yeah, for this card I've wagered 1.5 units or maybe 1.25. Yeah, I think 1.25. That's it. So I did put half a unit on Drakkar Klose by decision, but I don't love it. It's right on the borderline of where I like betting props like that, but I'm just gonna bank on Rafa Garcia's durability. I think Drakkar Klose will be able to stuff these takedowns, and when it's on the feet, I think he'll be winning. It could be low volume, which could be, and I don't mean low volume, but low-ish volume. Like it could be a fight where neither fighter is really running away with the striking numbers, but I'll just lean on that effective striking from Drakkar Klose. But for like the fifth time, man, there are some variables in this fight that give me pause, and the whole card is kind of like that. I just there's not a lot of definitive reads, at least for me, on this card. But yeah, I am gonna go with Drakkar Klose, and I am gonna go with Drakkar Klose by decision. So, thanks for watching, guys. Sure to subscribe,